Always a pleasure to have my next guest on the show. It's Jimmy the Brick Flick, who will be back in action on January the 20th at UFC 297 when he faces Malcom Gordon. Jimmy, how are you?
Hey man, I'm doing good. Excited for the next one.
Yes, sir. And obviously, Thanksgiving was just yesterday. So let's just start there. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? How much did you eat? Because your fight's still a ways away. I'm sure you got to eat plenty.
Oh yeah, and I'm a very picky guy, so I'm just turkey, ham, and bread. So not a lot for me. Just I got to stay away from that bread. That's what kills me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's this bakery that is where I'm from. They have the best rolls, and I feel like I ate like six or seven of them. Is that kind of your weakness too?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that Hawaiian rolls really get me.
Okay. No sweets, no pies, ice cream, nothing like that.
Actually, I did have a piece of chocolate pie. It was pretty good. I'm sitting at solid like 144 right now, so the weight is good. We are 8 weeks out from fight night, and everything's great, man. Everything's on point. UFC, my meal prep's on the way too, so I'll be meal prep for the next 8 weeks, thanks to Icon Meals.
Can't wait to see you back in there, my man. Are you noticing every year that passes, is it getting harder to kind of keep your weight down? Do you have to like stay dialed in and focused on it more?
Yeah, most definitely, and also with recovery. I'm 33 years old now, and I do this full time. So I'm training 3 to 4 times a day, and then I got to make sure I get my relaxed time in. So now, over the years, I've learned a lot, and my body lets me know. And when your body lets you know, that's when you know that you need to relax. And I train hard enough though that I know I need to take full days to relax, and that's my biggest problem. Sometimes not relaxing enough, but being older now and with all my experience, I think I got it under control.
Yeah, I'm older than you, so I know all about it, my man. Listen, a lot to get to, so let's get right after it and talk about your career. I haven't spoken to you for a while now. I think the last time that we did speak was right before you fought Charles Johnson. And this is a two fight skid for you. You've never lost two fights in a row in your pro career. What was that like mentally, just to kind of process that, regroup, and get back after it?
Man, mentally, physically, and emotionally, it sucks, man. Especially where I was at when I retired, and then to come back and to be back in a position I've never been in my entire career. And we got all these people, and everybody likes to say this and likes to say that, but at the end of the day, I know what I've done wrong. I know what I need to do, and I'm ready to get back to Jimmy the Brick Flick, who I was when I left. And I've had a lot of ups and downs, but this is everything for me. I've never lost two fights. I mean, Malcolm Gordon's on a two-fight losing streak as well. So whoever loses this fight, you're going to be on 3 fight losing streak, and you're probably losing your job. So I think the UFC knows what they're doing. They got us matched up for a reason. I'm fighting him in his hometown, his home country. UFC 297. It's a huge card. I have not actually been able to fight in front of fans. Everything's been at the Apex, which there are fans there, but it's limited. And like you said, when I fought Charles Johnson, it was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was like maybe 50 people there. So, like, it sucks. So, this has excited me. I know it's all or nothing, it's do or die for both of us. And I think it's going to be an amazing fight.
What's the contract remaining on your deal here? Do you have any fights after this one, or is this the last fight?
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, when I got my contract with the UFC, it was a 4 fight contract from the Tuesday Night Contender, and I've had 3 fights in the UFC, and this will be number four. So for me, I'm going out there. I'm going to go make a statement. I'm going to prove a point, and I'm going to let everybody know Jimmy the Brick Flick is back. And I got a few people on my radar, but I got a statement I got to make first.
You said that you knew what you did wrong in those losses to Charles and to Costa. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Is there something like in particular that you feel like maybe you didn't implement in your game plan in those fights?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I've been, ever since I came back, I wanted to show different things. I want to prove that I evolved, and in trying to do that against the best in the world is kind of backfired on me. And it put me in a position where I got put in positions I shouldn't have been. When I fought Charles, I should have been balls to the wall from the beginning, using my pressure, putting him on the cage, whether I was getting the takedown or not. And I ended up getting a good takedown, and I wanted to jump to the back too soon, and I lost position, and that's what lost me the fight. I got too eager. And then when I came into the Costa fight, I was just too loose and too comfortable. And next thing I know, I took two calf kicks that changed the whole outcome of the fight. And that little mistake right there cost me the fight to Costa. And now I'm on a 2-fight losing streak. I'm fighting for my job. I'm fighting for everything that I want, everything I worked for, and everything that I dreamed for. So it's brought out a different kind of motivation. And I know there's no more room for mistakes. And one more mistake could cost me my job and my career.
When you look back at how you evolved in your career to get to where you're at now, is it kind of crazy to see that, now here you're at this level, and if you just make that one mistake, that it can completely change the whole trajectory of the fight, and then bam, you lose, like, compared to like when you're fighting regionally where you can just kind of do your thing and dominate. Is it kind of crazy how the levels evolve?
Oh yeah, it's a big difference, and it goes to show us when we go back to the hotel after the fight. It's probably the worst thing, especially when you lose a fight, and to lose two in a row, and to know why I lost, and know that it's things that I could have fixed or something that I could have adjusted even inside the octagon to change the outcome. Of course, when I fought Charles, I do feel that the stoppage did affect the outcome. I do think round 2 and round 3 could have been different, especially if you look at his last couple performances. He's not performing right now either, and that guy's fighting for his job. And it just goes to show you how dangerous the sport is he was on a 2-fight winning streak. Once he beat me, he's already on a 3-fight losing streak and fighting for his job. That's how deadly this sport is.
But it also could change really quickly too, because you beat Cody Durden, not too long ago, and now here he is on a big winning streak, and he's got another massive fight around the corner. And I know he's said numerous times that he would, want to get that rematch with you. If you win, if he wins another one, he might be able to kind of call his shots to some degree. Is that a fight that you would love to have if it does eventually come to fruition again?
Oh, most definitely, and what sucks for me though is, I'm coming off 2 losses since I beat Cody,
Yeah.
4-fight winning streak, and he's doing good for himself. But I honestly believe I can take everything that he worked for again. I did it once, and I want to do it again. But like you said, I got to make a statement January 20th, and we have to see how his fight goes December 16th. Honestly, if he loses that fight, it actually opens up for that fight to happen better. If he does win, he does pull a little farther out, but he does have more strings to pull. If I'm him and I win, I'm going after Makayev, the other guy that beat him. That would make way more sense than, stepping back and fighting me. But this is the game of inches. This is the game of, getting to the top and making money. So it's whatever he wants to do. Does he want to close the gap or getting closer to the title, or does he want to close the gap and make more money? So it kind of up to him what he wants to do. And it's also, comes down to the outcome January 20th versus Malcom Gordon, because I'm not overlooking Malcom Gordon at all. And I know Malcom Gordon's not overlooking me. I know what we both got at stake here, and it's a lot. It's huge, and I can't let this opportunity pass me up.
Yeah, man, the flyweight division has never been better than it is right now. It is stacked. And to think that there was discussion of it going away at one point in time, that's just madness to me.
Yeah, I mean, I went back to 135 because of that. But that's the only reason I ever fought Johnny Bedford, because they were talking about cutting the flyweight division. So that's one of my favorite fights that I've ever had, and I'll always, refer back to that fight as one of the biggest fights in my career and a real game changer for me. And that was all because the UFC was gonna cut the 125-pound division.
It's a good thing they didn't, man. It's a really good thing that they didn't. Let's talk about training. I saw on your Instagram you went to Texas to train with Jonathan Martinez. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jonathan Martinez, top bantamweight in the world, the only guy, I think, in the bantamweight division to win 2 fights by leg kicks. And I'm coming off of a fight by leg kicks, so might as well go train with one of the best. And it was amazing. And he's in Plainview, Texas, which I didn't know is actually 3,500 feet in altitude. So it helped really push my cardio a lot. He has like 9 125ers from amateur to pro. And I went down there for 5 days, and every day They were putting it on me. He worked around stuff that I needed. It was really great. And he's headed out to go train with Chris and get Chris ready for December 9th. And then I'm hoping to get down there and do another week before January 20th, because it's really great training with him.
How much better are you now at avoiding those dangerous leg kicks?
It's going to be better, especially after training with Martinez, man. That guy, he's very active. He knows how to throw them, set them up. And I think I learned a lot more about that too, and how to see them come in and make sure I'm on top of my checks. Cause I love checking kicks. My whole left leg is tatted up. And that's the whole reason I tatted my whole left leg up. It's because I like checking kicks, man. And so I really appreciate Martinez bringing me down, let me come down there, and I'm going to be getting more training with them for sure.
Very cool. Tell me how things have been at Forza Combat Sports.
Oh man, Forza has been great. We're bringing in wrestlers again, like I did when I fought Cody Durden. I got Micah Stockton. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's a Marine. He's got over 30 fights as a professional mixed martial artist. And I brought him in for this camp. And he's been working with my jiu-jitsu and my wrestling. And then over at Forza Combat Sports, we're really pushing my Muay Thai, my wrestling base. And I brought in a few 125ers to really help push me for this camp. We're 8 weeks out. And I don't train with anybody over 135, 140 pounds right now. And everything's good. Got me a little shiner too. Camp's been great, man. And at 8 weeks out, like I said, I'm just now really going to start picking it up. But we're also staying ready. We know how the UFC works. We got to be on standby. And there's some flyweight fights out there. If something happened, the UFC knows I'm ready.
Who gave you the shiner?
My boy Jeff, man. He's going to be one of the top amateurs coming up, dude. I love this guy, dude. He fights in all sports, Muay Thai, MMA, boxing, and he's got a lot of experience. He's a great training partner, and I see big things coming from him.
I wanted to ask you too, Jimmy, with the UFC moving on from USADA, what was your whole thought process on hearing that? Like, what's your takeaway from them moving away from USADA after all these years?
From my understanding, I mean, we're still going to be doing the same thing with just a different company. So it's cool with me. I mean, a lot of people said they had problems with USADA. I've never had any issues. My guy has always been great. I've had the same guy since I've started, and I've never had any issues. He's never showed up super early or super late, or I've had no problems at all. So with USADA, it was great for me, and I'm just glad we're going to still keep getting drug tested. And the UFC, they give us supplements and stuff. And so I just take what the UFC gives me and make things easy. If the UFC didn't give me nothing, I wouldn't take nothing. So I make it pretty easy, man. And it's hard on my body sometimes, but now with the UFC giving me supplements, it helps with my recovery and everything since I'm getting older. But I love the drug testing. So I hope it stays the same. I hope the new people are just as good and we keep this ball rolling.
Yeah, this is a while ago now, and I can't remember what interview it was because I've had the pleasure of interviewing you a number of times now. But USADA came to the door while we were getting ready to interview, and then we had to postpone. Right? Was that what happened, or was it afterwards? And then you messaged me.
One of the two, but yeah, we've had a couple occasions like we have our UFC whereabouts and they know where I live, when I train and stuff like that. If you have a job, what your hours are. So they know where they can kind of find that open window. And I was doing a charity event I was an auctioneer for a charity event. I was raising money for a friend of mine that got in a motorcycle wreck, and my phone kept ringing while I was doing this charity event, and I was like, y'all, my phone's blowing up. And they was like, it's probably your car warranty. So I was like, I'll answer it. So I answer it. No, it was USADA. And I was like, oh crap. So they showed up to the auctioneer and the fundraiser and got to watch me work a little bit. And then I took my drug test and then went right back and finished up doing my auctioneer job. And it was really cool. It's probably one of my funnest experience with USADA.
Okay. Yeah. Well, again, I guess it's just a good thing that you're going to have them doing the same thing. This new company that's doing the exact same thing, testing the fighters, because we all want a level playing field here. Before we transition to this upcoming fight again, Jimmy, with Malcom Gordon, January the 20th, You do something on your Instagram called Flick Picks, and I see that pretty regularly. So you like, giving the public your picks. I know as a active UFC fighter, you can't actually go and bet, but it seems like you're right more often than you're wrong. So I want to get some picks from you here first before we dive into the Malcom Gordon fight and prediction there. UFC 296, Leon Edwards, Colby Covington, the 170 title. Who wins? How do they do it?
Colby Covington decision, baby. He's gonna grind him out. I mean, that's what I see happening. I love Colby Covington. I know that his talk and his American badass thing, but Colby, at the end of the day, dude, he's a great fighter. And what's cool about Colby and Kamar Usman, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but if you go and look at Kamar's first loss, his first loss was to a guy Colby beat. If you go look at Colby's first loss, his loss was to a guy that Kamar beat. And then Kamar has beat him twice, and then now Kamar lost to Edwards. And I see Colby going in there and beating Edwards and kind of having like the same thing they did, because they're both from Florida, fighting early in their career down in Florida. And you go look it up, and they fought some of the same people. And it's crazy that Kamar's got a loss to a guy he beat, and he's got a loss to a guy Kamar beat. And then now we're in the same stipulations for the welterweight title, and I got Colby Covington by unanimous decision.
Okay, I actually feel the exact same way about that fight. Your weight class, the belt is on the line. So Pantoja, Royval, who wins that? How do they get it done?
Let's go. LFA flyweight champ, Brandon Royval. He's going to get it done. He's going to shock the world. And I don't know if Pantoja's been finished, because I know he's a very tough guy to finish. So I'd have to look at that. But I think Brandon Royval does get it done. I think he's going to get in an exchange with him, catch him with a good shot, and he's going to lock up that choke, man. So, and he's very good with it. Brandon has the fastest submission in LFA history in 31 seconds. And your boy has got the second fastest with 38 seconds. So, Brandon, I've always looked up to that guy. I want to follow the same trail as he did to get to that title. And hopefully, before this is all done, me and Brandon Royval will be able to throw down.
Man, I love it. The main event of your card, UFC 297, Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis for the 185 strap. I cannot wait for this, man. I honestly, this is a fight that I don't know where to go. I could go either way here. Tell me what you think. What's going to happen here?
Man, it's tough, like you said, because du Plessis, man, he looked great against Rob Whittaker. He got his nose fixed. And man, Sean Strickland, he's just great, man. And a lot of people, oh yeah, I mean, he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. The guy's actually really good. And his first fight in the UFC, I forgot who it was, but he stepped in on short notice and he won his UFC debut by submission. So Sean Strickland is well-rounded. If he can keep it on the feet, I mean, I think Sean's going to get it done. But du Plessis, I mean, he likes to strike. His ground is really, really good. And we haven't seen Sean have to wrestle anybody in a long time. So I think it's amazing. I'm glad it's my main event. I'm super stoked for that. We got the women's title fight on there too, and we got a bunch of fighters on there. Neil Magny's on there. Like, it's gonna be a great card.
Yeah, man. And this UFC 297 card, it could be, for my money. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen later on in that year, but for how it looks right now, this could be maybe the best card of the year.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna be on it. I want to kick off the card. As of right now, they show me like I know I'm gonna be one of the early fights, but I love being the first fight of the night. It's awesome. I like to get the show going, and if I could do that, that'd be great for me. And I want to do it with fireworks. The hometown guy, we're both fighting for what we want to do for a living. I think it's going to be an amazing fight, and I plan on finishing Malcom Gordon in front of his hometown.
So when you look at his skill set, what he brings to the table, obviously we know how dangerous you are if the fight goes to the ground. I mean, you're dangerous everywhere, but if it goes to the ground, you're just on another level than a lot of guys. How do you see this fight actually playing out stylistically?
Stylistically, man, I think it's a great matchup. We're both jiu-jitsu guys, and this is not a case, though, where both jiu-jitsu guys are going to stand and strike. The reason I say that is because I know my wrestling's better. And Malcom Gordon is well-rounded, but he accepts the takedown and then likes to grapple from that. When he accepts the takedown, when I take him down, that's going to be his mistake because of my pressure, and my jiu-jitsu is going to get the job done. I'm going to get to a dominant position, and if I do not use my ground and pound, I will submit him. And I'm going to try to do it smoothly and as flawless as possible. And I'm going to walk out of Canada with my hand raised in a new UFC contract.
And with this being in front of a bunch of screaming fans in his backyard, you playing the role of the villain, wearing the black hat coming into the fight here, does that hype you up even more? Like, does that get you on another level than, maybe fighting at the Apex?
Oh, most definitely. And actually, I was really surprised on all the feedback that I've got from the Canadians. A lot of them actually have reached out to me. I even had one recently send me a card because I sign UFC cards. I do card events. I'll actually be in Waco, Texas, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I'll be in Ardmore, Oklahoma, December 9th and 10th. And then I'll be over in Bentonville, Arkansas on December 15th and 16th. So got this little Jimmy the Brick Flick tour thing going where I'm going to travel around, get my name out there. So a lot of the Canadians have reached out to me, and it's been great, man. So hopefully I go in there and I pull the Sean Strickland and do what he did and go steal all these fans.
Jimmy, I think you're going to be fighting for quite a while still, right? But when you look forward to when you do retire from the sport, you're so well spoken. You know the sport inside and out. Have you thought about what you can do post active fight career? Maybe like as an analyst, or doing something with the UFC to utilize your skill set.
Most definitely. I've already been getting into commentating. I love commentating, and I would even love to do some ring announcing. I feel that I know what these guys want, the entertainment, the excitement, what gets the nerves going, and the adrenaline to bring the fans. At the end of the day, I know when I'm done with this, I want to be a motivational speaker. I'm going to have my own gym. I'm going to give back to my community. I even want to have scholarships for kids that come from families that ain't nothing to train at my gym. I want to get kids in the gym that might not be able to afford it, but it's going to benefit them in the future. So I have a lot of things that I want to do when I'm done. I'm 33 now. I feel that, if everything goes good health wise, I've got a good 5 to 7 years if I can make it till 40 to give it everything I got, so that's why this fight means so much to me. This is really a do or break for me. And I really need to keep this thing going because in the future, the fallback is what's going to make it for me and my girls.
Yeah, well, I'm sure whatever it is you want to accomplish, you will, my man. Always great talking to you, Jimmy. Can't wait to see you back in action again, January the 20th, UFC 297. Jimmy Flick meets Malcom Gordon. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor as always, man. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, floor is yours.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate you bringing me on here. Always love interviewing with you. And if y'all want to follow me, I have my fan page, Jimmy the Brick Flick. I have my Instagram, The Brick MMA. I'm even on TikTok at The Brick MMA, Twitter, or what's it called now? I don't even know what they
X.
call it. Yeah, I'm on there at Jimmy Flick as well. And then I'm going to do this off the top of my head. Hopefully I don't miss any of them, but I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors: Harvest Health Dispensary, Tulsa Sport Acupuncture, Minuteman Plumbing of Tulsa, International Crematory Service. I'm going to send them a body. Let's go. January 20th. Industrial Motor Services, Broadway Barbershop, Inkwell Printing, The Parlor Hair and Ink, HKA USA, Forza Combat Sports and Broken Arrow, My Lawyer, Palmer Law, GG2 Sports and Card Show, Rich Fairbanks with MAL Mafia, Vista Pools, Outdoor Living in Kiefer, Oklahoma, and my boy Micah Stockton, my insurance broker. So if you need an insurance broker, hit up my boy Micah Stockton. I really appreciate all my sponsors. I can't thank them enough. And January 20th, I promise, tune in. I'm going to get the job done.
Whew. And if you're a young fighter watching this interview, that's how it's done, folks. My goodness, Jimmy, well done. Great talking to you again, my man. Look forward to doing it soon.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it.